Good day, welcome to Mr. White's AP Human Geography class. This is the third installment of cram session, and today we'll be looking at regions and thematic maps. As we take a closer look at regions, you should know that a region can be broken down into three parts: a formal, a functional, and a perceptual region. We'll also be taking a closer look at formal with the two different subsets known as a cultural and a physical. The first place we'll look is at Belgium's languages for our cultural differences. The European country of Belgium can be broken into three formal regions based upon cultural language differences: in the south, the very small east, and the north. Now in the east, most Belgian speakers speak German, Hallo. In the north, most speak Dutch, Oi, and in the south, most speak French, saying Salut. All of these are how they would say hi in Belgium. You'll notice there are three different languages spoken, and there are three different formal regions based upon the cultural trait of language: German in the east, Dutch to the north, and French to the south. Now another type of cultural difference could be religion. Let's look at the religion of Islam and its two main branches, Sunni and Shia. From this map you can see the formal region is mostly split upon Sunni. You can see that North Africa, Central Asia, and most of Southwest Asia are Sunni, whereas a small percentage around Iran are Shia. This map also highlights differences in formal regions based upon cultural religious differences. Physical traits can also define a formal region. This area of North Africa is often seen with dry, arid conditions. So regardless of which country one would go to, they'll notice the conditions remain the same across the Sahara Desert in North Africa. Countries in the Arctic Circle also exhibit similar formal physical features. With cold coastal waters, icebergs, and glacial movement, these countries share a formal region that is physical in nature with its cold, icy climate. The Amazon River Basin and rainforest is our last formal physical area we'll be looking at with this region. Notice that this entire area that spans many countries has dense, lush vegetation, canopies, right? Lots of trees. And therefore, they share the features that make them a physical, formal region. Now with that, you understand formal, both cultural and physical regions, and we'll be looking at functional regions next. This map of cell phone coverage data in America exhibits a great functional region. You can see that the color shows the interaction between the customer and the service provider, whether it's Verizon, T-Mobile, AT&T, or Sprint. In the top left, we can see that Verizon has the greatest functional region, covering most of America, while T-Mobile in the top right provides the least amount of coverage data. This in no way is an endorsement of Verizon Wireless. And with that, you now understand a functional region. Our last region is a perceptual region, and we'll be looking at this map here. This is different for everyone. Remember, perceptual is what is in your head. It's kind of like a mental map. This is the author of this picture's perception of America based into many different regions. It's different for everyone. That is the perceptual region, and with that, you now have a vast understanding of formal, both cultural and physical, functional, and perceptual regions. And it's time to move on to our second section of this video. That is thematic maps and their use in this class. First, let's get to our maps. The first one we'll look at is the dot map. The dot map is a great map that is used to basically place dots on a map and show an event or a phenomenon, and it can show the distribution very well. So with this map in the example, we can see that every time you see a dot, that represents a college or university in the United States. We can quickly ascertain from this that most of the colleges and universities in America are in the Northeast and in the Southwest. We can see very few lie along the Rocky Mountains and in the Midwest. The second type of thematic map is a cartogram. A cartogram will basically distort a map on purpose in order to show large phenomena and small phenomena. So this map right here shows the entire world. So we can see there's North America, South America, Africa. We can see Europe and Asia. And the bigger a country appears means the more domestic soccer leagues it has. So this phenomena would be soccer. So the more leagues a country has, the larger it will appear. So you can see Brazil down here, very large. You can see some of these smaller countries like Australia, without that many domestic soccer leagues, very small. The problem with cartograms is it distorts very badly. These are almost not even usable as navigation tools. Another example would be this one of the population of the entire world. We can see that China and both India are very large because they're the two largest countries based upon population, which is the phenomenon for this map. They appear larger. However, countries like Australia and Canada, which are quite large, are portrayed very small due to the fact that their population is not that large, although their land area is very large. So a cartogram is very good at showing stuff like population or any type of phenomenon where you want to contrast large and small. They are not good, however, for any type of navigation. Choropleth maps are a third type, and in these, it shows intensity using typically cool colors for a low intensity and warm colors for a high intensity of a phenomenon. So looking at my home state of Georgia and the population, you can see cool colors like green means that the population is not that dense. However, the closer you get to the metro area, you can notice the warmer colors of this Choropleth map heat up, showing that the density gets quite intense. You can also look at the density of minority populations from 2012 in the United States with this map to the right. The darker this map, you see there's a higher concentration or a higher instance of this phenomenon. The fourth type of map is a flow map. A flow map does just that. It shows how things move. So with the Great Migration in early U.S. history, and we can see that African Americans left the South and moved north in order to escape segregation and find better jobs in industry during World War I. A flow map will always use arrows and have a origin, and it'll also have a destination. So you can see from this map that most African Americans traveled up to Boston, Chicago, Minneapolis, and out west to LA during the Great Migration. The next type is a proportional symbol or proportional dot map. Just like a dot map, you can see there's dots. However, the dots will get bigger and bigger as the more intense the phenomenon is. So as we look on the left at the Isle of Britain, we notice that a small dot represents one soccer stadium. A large dot represents 6 or more. So we can see that the concentration of soccer stadiums is in the southeast of of England. To the right, we can see the same proportional symbol map with these deer head, showing the number of hunting license holders per state in 2003 in the US. From this, one could ascertain that there's very few hunters in the state of Nevada, while there's many hunters in Minnesota, Wisconsin, and Texas, who are the largest of this, with over 1 million hunting license holders per state. Our next one is an isoline map. Iso comes from the Greek for equal. Line means a line. So with these, they're very good at showing two things. On the left, we can see climate, and in this case, temperature. So everywhere between the lines is equal. Remember, ISO means equal. So we can see, let's look right here in Georgia. Between this line and this line, we know it's somewhere in the range of 80 degrees to 85 degrees. So everywhere that is colored right here falls within that range. We can see from this one, it's 80 to 75, 75 to 70, so on and so forth. These are very good for showing climate, precipitation, pressure, and any other type of climate. To the right, though, these isoline maps can also be very good at showing elevation. We see the subcontinent here with India, and we notice that every time there's a line, there's an increase of about 100 feet. So we can see that India, on its southwest coast and in its northwest, is very mountainous, Whereas in the east, it's more of a coastal plains area. The more distance between the lines will indicate that there is a more gradual increase in elevation. Whereas the tighter the lines are together, there is a very marked increase in this elevation change, therefore to be more steep. But we can further highlight this with a 2D versus 3D map. So we see the same place in both 2D form and 3D form. So in the 2D form, we see that as these iso lines are very, very tightly packed together, that corresponds to this 3D map of a rapid elevation change here and here. So the closer these lines are together, the faster they will rise in elevation. The last type of thematic map is what's known as a mental map. A mental map is exactly what it sounds like. It's the map you have inside of your head about what a place looks like or feels like and maybe smells like. And so it's this picture that we have. So your hometown, you have a mental map of what it looks like. Those are the types of thematic maps that you'll be needing to know for this unit. This is Mr. White for Mr. White's Avatar saying, thanks for watching and listening to Regions and Thematic Maps. Also, I beg you, press that subscribe button, click the like button. It keeps me motivated. Also, please support Kind of Music and keep on watching.